Hurricane hunters and big winter storms have been arguing about this. In a moment, I would like to show you this. That cold air and moisture feed from the Pacific are present in the southeast United States, directly across the Gulf. Everything is coming together. The chilly air is coming together. Look at what a huge weather event this is. The moisture, the rain, the snow, and the sleet for many, and the front moving closer to the Caribbean. This map is slightly different now. All the way up here is the Louisiana coast, which is coming out of New Orleans, Mississippi, and Alabama. This is the trajectory of a hurricane hunting aircraft, which typically enters tropical storms or tropical storms and hurricanes. The atmosphere is being sampled out there. To better understand the weather, they conducted this exercise in the Gulf of Mexico yesterday and last night, which benefits the computer models. Although they occasionally entered larger winter systems, we rarely witness hurricane hunters entering larger systems. It demonstrates the importance of this. The Bay of Campeche is the source of the moisture that is lifting into the white areas of Texas and Mexico. The snow is that. It's unusual for these places to receive this much snow, and it's a historic snowfall. This 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-inch rainstorm has the potential to shatter all previous records. That will rank among the highest totals since the 1890s or on record. That snow is located in the Houston area, moves toward Bryan, Texas, swings back toward Lafayette, is very close to New Iberia, watches over toward Alexandria, Baton Rouge, and finally swings back toward New Orleans. We'll witness that transition. Although there is some initial rain, the colder air is actually blending in. There will then be some sleet, which are pellets of ice. The snow is expected to build back toward Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, directly across I-10, Georgia, and finally up toward the Carolinas. Thus, the front is directly in front of it. Sporadic showers in the eastern Caribbean will be the source of the moisture. Parts of Central America will see an increase in the likelihood of rain, and all of that contributes to the system in some way. Then, with some colder nights ahead, this front will be sweeping across the Bahamas and portions of Cuba. Before I slow it down and zoom in, let's start with the big picture. The cold air is here now. I'll zoom down to these spots repeatedly throughout the day where the cold air meets the moisture that's feeding in a split second. Particularly in some areas of Louisiana, there is that snow, and that historic snowfall is noteworthy. After that, there will be intermittent showers on the south side of this, Florida lifting up toward the Carolinas, and a build back toward portions of the western panhandle and northeastern or northern Florida. By tomorrow morning, we'll be heading north from Jacksonville through the Carolinas, keeping an eye on the North Carolina Outer Banks for any snowfall, and it is clearly visible through here. The colder air was reinforced by the Bahamas as the front itself drew back through South Florida. That moisture is still present in the front, right on the Cayman Islands edge. Seeing some of that rain is believed in some parts of Mexico. However, that snow is right there. Then, as tomorrow progresses into Thursday, that front moves away. That snow event will be slipping away as you watch it move across Bermuda. I'm also keeping an eye out for some upcoming systems. This will now help the Bahamas experience some of that colder weather. That moisture feed is still there. As we look to the future, we will continue to see this rain sort of moving up toward the north from Central America. This is merely a glimpse of what's happening in the past, and you can see some of that rain moving back toward the Bahamas, the Yucatan Peninsula, parts of Belize, and the Cayman Islands. Once more, this is before Friday arrives. Next, we'll look at the next system, which should be a little further north. With the possibility of rain and snow as we approach the next weekend and the beginning of next week, you can see it sweeping across the United States before heading up toward the northeast. The next system in line is this one, which constantly aims to predict the future and give you a glimpse of what lies ahead. I want to discuss some of the snow totals now that we have a closer look. Thus, it is later in the morning. Snow is still making its way into Louisiana, which is close to the Houston area, as well as parts of Mexico and northeastern Mexico, where we had to deal with multiple tropical systems during the previous hurricane season. Parts of Texas and Louisiana are currently experiencing some snow and sleet, particularly on the higher terrain. As the day progresses, you can see that at one go, the snow begins to spread into Georgia, parts of Alabama, Mississippi, and all the way through New Orleans. In some areas of Florida, it even crosses I-10. Will the Bahamas experience this snowfall? Not likely. Parts of the Bahamas experienced snow flurries in the 1970s, but by the time this evening arrives, you can still see that snow. just attempting to get out of Louisiana, but more so North Florida and the Florida Panhandle, before plunging up toward the Carolinas, South Carolina, and North Carolina, which must contend with some snow, particularly in the eastern parts. Ultimately, you can observe how this develops as we move into tonight. We can observe the transition from rain to sleet, and even some snow attempting to mix in by Tejas close to Jacksonville. Additionally, as we approach the coastal regions of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, we may encounter snow in the direction of Sea Island. Additionally, there may be snow returning to the Savannah region. The majority of this activity then pushes off only on the backside by tomorrow morning. A small amount of sleet may attempt to infiltrate additional areas of Florida before this system begins to dissipate. Although it has been somewhat of a close call, you can see that front and the possibility of rain directly across the northern Bahamas, but you are not really seeing the possibility of snow. Now, in terms of snow totals, yes, from Houston, where the green shading is swinging back toward Louisiana, and then all the way up through the Carolinas, these snow levels are historic for these locations. There will be record-breaking snowfall there, at the very least. Parts of Louisiana and Mississippi have the potential to record rainfall with up to 6 inches of precipitation possible. In some areas of the western panhandle of Florida, we could attempt to reach the highest snow totals ever recorded, which I believe were 4 inches in some places. This white shading is simply the result of some interesting mapping. For that heavy snowfall through here, the cutoff would be pretty close to Jacksonville. We might receive more than 2 inches of rain or snow here. In some areas of southern Louisiana, we're pushing 4 to 6 inches of snow at our subspots. It's definitely plowable snow. And that is really, really important information for these places. It is quite unusual that the snow is approaching the tropics. Here's one of the explanations. It is, of course, one of the main causes of the Arctic air. With the cold air elsewhere and that moisture simply pumping in directly into the cold air, you can see how far south it has them. Although the air isn't quite as cold as the Arctic, it's still cold enough to see snow and sleet in some very odd places. You can see that tongue of some of that Arctic air that is plunged down there as we move forward into Wednesday morning and tomorrow morning. The moisture is just feeding in, and the cold air is still there. And observe the frigid air plummeting toward regions of Guatemala. However, there is also that Arctic air, where the moisture is directly deposited into some of the cold air. And that's the reason for the snow in the south. Let's take a look at that moisture today. There is some wintry weather in some parts of Mexico, including snow and sleet. Today, there's a chance of spotty showers in Antigua, Barbuda, and further back toward Barbados and St. Lucia. Even though this front is very important, I don't think it will go all the way to the south. Our northern regions will experience some cooler nights, but everywhere else will continue to experience the hit-or-miss showers and increased likelihood of rain that come with that flow from the east. Tomorrow is going to be a rainy day in Honduras and Belize, with a 50-60% chance of rain in Honduras. As we move into Thursday, we repeat that process. We may see a few showers in St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. After that, keep an eye out for the tail end of the front that will be returning through the Bahamas and some of the rain that is building back toward Mexico. It's snowing right in through here. It is available to view here. Canada's Atlantic region returning to Quebec. In the direction of the Great Lakes, the chilly air creates lake effect snow. This snow is still working in, but a lot of it pulls offshore rather than really lifting up towards, say, New England. So let's head for Bermuda. Despite the possibility of that cold rain in the future, it appears that a stronger system will be moving toward the northeastern United States and the Atlantic region of Canada by the weekend. See some of the snow near Newfoundland by tomorrow. However, a large portion of this is located just offshore of Nova Scotia. However, as this front moves through, it does reinforce the colder air that is already there. As we make our way back through Bermuda and some of that lake effect snow that will once again be possible for a large portion of the week, we're still keeping an eye out for some of those showers. Sea levels have undoubtedly risen. Take a look at how high they are. We're discussing more than 4 meters. In some places, we're pushing 10 feet or more. With this front passing by this winter storm system, meters are here and feet are on the right side of your screen. Conditions in the Gulf of Mexico are extremely harsh. Tomorrow is the date of this. It's Thursday now. The Caribbean and Atlantic waters are choppy, and as the weekend approaches, we can expect to see choppy conditions close to Bermuda as these systems pull offshore the Atlantic waters. The Eastern Caribbean's Atlantic passageways will be rough. Without a doubt, the Atlantic waters are higher. Regarding the rain, I brought up the snow, but a few showers could help us. There are many blues on the map, but Freeport returns through a New Providence. Therefore, the likelihood of rain is low if there is a shower in Jamaica or the Cayman Islands. Thus, the sums would not be particularly high. An inch of rain swinging back through Puerto Rico, but a little more from Dominica, Martinique, back through Trinidad and Tobago, could brush past us by 10 or 25 millimeters. Over the next few weeks, Trinidad, there will be a greater chance of rain. We may have a better chance of rain because of a flow that is sort of coming in off the Atlantic. A few areas might receive 2 inches or 50 millimeters of rain. Northern Guyana turned into a Suriname, same thing. In a moment, I will show you Suriname. As the likelihood of rain increases, we may see a few areas with 50 millimeter precipitation, with that moisture pumping up Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, and then on toward Costa Rica in the coming days. But once more, the moisture in this place is turning into snow in many places. As you can see, there is little chance of rain today. In Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, we have a 30% chance of showers tomorrow. The likelihood of rain is not very high. There's a 20% chance of a shower with the front mostly to the north. But we're going to be a little uneasy, Trinidad and Tobago. The likelihood of some spotty showers is around 40%, though it may be a little higher today. There is a 50% chance in Barbados, a 40% chance for tomorrow, a 30% chance as the next few days progress, and a 30% chance in Grenada. St. Lucia, Grenada, St. Vincent, the Grenadine, and a few showers that come and go. Tell me in the comments below. 40% chance today. A 40% chance today, Martinique. The rain chance then increases as the week progresses, reaching roughly 50% on Thursday, 30% in Guadeloupe over the next few days, 40% on Thursday with a few light showers possible today, 30-40% in Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat, and 30-40% over the following few days. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia have a 30% chance, while Anguilla and St. Bart have a 40% chance for today. It will therefore be isolated. There is a 30% chance of rain in Puerto Rico today and a 20% chance tomorrow. We might get a few light showers because it's not too high. We have a better chance of rain in the northern Bahamas, the U.S., and the British Virgin Islands, which are mostly dry to the south. Rainfall in Turks and Caicos is expected to be at least 20%. Through the Dominican Republic, there is a 20-30% chance. Even though the weather in Haiti is still mostly dry, a stray sprinkle is still possible. However, rain has started to fall in Belize in sporadic showers. Over the next few days, there will be sporadic showers in Ladyville, Hopkins, and Belize City. How does Bonaire have a 20-30% chance of that brief shower, Aruba? As the week progresses, you can observe that the likelihood of rain increases in Guyana by Thursday, and that the likelihood of rain increases in Suriname tomorrow. Let anyone know if there's a chance that rain will return. With that front moving past Costa Rica and Panama, there is a greater chance of a couple showers in the west and Cuba. On Thursday, the likelihood of rain is gradually increasing to 50%. As you can see, there will be sporadic rain, particularly in Nicaragua on Thursday and tomorrow. Additionally, Honduras, including the islands, has a higher chance of rain. There is roughly a 60% chance of rain tomorrow as you approach a Rotan. There is a 20-30% chance of Guatemala and El Salvador primarily driving directly across Mexico City, with the majority of the moisture to the east. The Yucatan Peninsula is mostly dry with a 20% chance of rain, though there is a chance of sporadic showers as the front passes northern Colombia. The Bermuda will be bringing in these systems, which could bring higher seas, some gusty winds, and occasional cold rain to northern Venezuela. In order to track how far south that gets, cold air has plunged down to the south, causing this snow to form in very unusual places. Then, since this winter is undoubtedly busier than some of our previous ones, I'll be keeping an eye on those upcoming winter systems. As the week progresses, I will begin to look ahead as well. Therefore, I appreciate you taking the time to subscribe. I hope today is fantastic for you.